This is the new Booyah prank. It's a hybrid, call it a hybrid, but you can look at it as a popper, but then also as a crankbait here. Got a small lip on it, allows you to get about 2 feet deep. I'm gonna cover the actions real quick. So you got 3 different actions pretty much that you can use this bait. 2 specifically on top that I wanna talk about. One is a flipping shad. You've all seen shad flip the water. It makes a little bitty splash and it makes a little bitty flipping sound. You got the ability to mimic that perfectly with this bait right here. A little bit of slack in the line and you're just gonna hit it real easy. Sense that water splashing up, just like that right there. Sounds just like the bait fish is flipping on the water. All it takes is a little bit of slack, just barely hit the bait, just a little bit. You don't want to hit it real hard. The lip that's built into this prank allows you to achieve that action because it's pulling the bait straight down as soon as you hit it. So all that mouth goes straight underneath the water, to the water, and it causes that bait to push water straight up, and it splashes like that. The second action that you can get on top from this bait is the traditional popper sound. To get that washed out boosh sound. And what that's mimicking is that's mimicking a strike. So that's a bait fish on top of the water, and that's another fish going after that bait, trying to eat it. That's what that sound mimics. So when you have that sound, it's gonna cause other fish that's in the area, it's gonna cause them to target, listen, and find that bait and find out what's going on. So the totally unique thing about this one is the ability to crank it. So say you missed a fish. Topwater fishing, you always miss fish, it's inevitable. Especially smallmouth, they're so aggressive, they come up and just hammer it and then they're gone. No matter what you do, entice, entice, entice again, try to get that fish to come back and hit it, and they just won't do it. So what you have the ability to do is if that fish misses, you get a blow up and that fish misses it as you're working it, you can immediately start reeling. And this bait swims just like a crankbait. It's got the feather dress treble on the back, and that thing just shakes back and forth and looks like it's actually swimming through the water. It's freaking awesome. Topwater action or cranking action. So areas specifically that this comes to play in, like kind of like what we're fishing right now is a prime example. You've got brush piles, lay downs, stumps maybe, and you're dragging it by there and you've got a lot of dead water in between the cover. Well, you can reel that bait in and it's swimming, looking really, really realistic. Swimming and not just wasting the rest of your cast. This gives you the ability to crank that dude, swim it, bring it right onto the boat in a good swimming action, just in case you have a fish that's following or interested but didn't take the topwater bite. They're gonna come and grab it while you're swimming it through the water. There he is right there. Now right there on that fat fish right there, that's a good one. I started reeling it. I was over the cover, and this is where it comes into play at. I was past the cover, and I was in that dead water. What I was talking about, the dead water, I started cranking this in, and he hit this because it was swimming away from him. This fish hit it. It's a nice fish too. Perfect example of how this bait's gonna catch fish like no other topwater can catch them. There he is, reeling it just like that right there. Started reeling it. He didn't. This is a pretty good fish too. Started was popping it on the water. Oh, this is a nice fish. Was popping it on the water just like that fleeing shad. Bloosh, this is a good one. Started cranking it. I made about 7 cranks and he come up from that ledge and just hammered it. That's a tournament fish right there. Anybody would be happy to have that in their bag on anywhere. Ate it. Front hook right there in the mouth. It's all about the lip action. All about the lip action right there. That is awesome.
Hey, Stetson Blaylock, I want to tell you about a Booyah Hard Knocker. Everybody knows that a lipless crankbait will catch fish all year long, from dead of winter to hot summertime. Shad colors obviously work better when the fish are feeding on the shad, but here in the early spring like we have now, those fish are starting to move up, get on their bedding flats and in the backs of those pockets. I like to have a Rayburn red color tied on every time I go to the water. I like to stick with a 1/2 ounce most of the time if I'm fishing super shallow, or if I'm wanting to wind the bait really fast up there in the dirt, covering the tops of grass. Anytime I'm wanting to fish it up there really super shallow. If I want to get it out and back it out in that 5 to 10 foot range, I'm going to tie on a 3/4 ounce. And what this allows me to do is I can burn the 3/4 ounce just like I can the 1/2 ounce, but I can also fish it slow, get it down there deeper. But the hard knocker is the bait that I'm gonna throw anytime I'm looking for schools of fish. If they're not actually up on their beds, they're kind of moving around, going into those creeks, moving up on those flats and on those points, a Booyah hard knocker is gonna get you more bites, and I guarantee you, it'll get you bigger bites.
Got him. Nice one. Oh, dude, he almost came off. Get in the boat. Get in here. All right. That fish was in the tightest little nook and cranny ever. I'm fishing the Booyah Bankroll jig. I'm throwing it in the juice color. The cool thing about this jig is I'm actually throwing the 3/8 model because I'm fishing relatively shallow. If I was fishing deep grass, I love that 1/2 ounce, or it comes through the grass so good. But here's the neat thing about this jig. This thing comes through grass exceptionally, but it comes through wood even better. It's a great all-around jig. I'm actually using a Christy Craw trailer in Bama Magic. We're fishing these estuaries off of the Great Lakes here in the Rust Belt. And everything we want to do, our crayfish here are green. They always have some green in them. And the emerald shiners are also green with a hint of blue. So by throwing this combination, I'm kind of imitating both, really. It's a great combination, and man, I love fishing this thing. For all you guys that love skipping jigs, the Booyah Bankroll jig skips super easy. You gotta give this one a try.
The next time you go down to your local tackle store and you start looking at spinner baits, don't only look at those great big blades, big tandem 3/8 to 1/2 ounce lures. Take a gander at this little old Booyah Pond Magic. It's the perfect size when you want to size down your spinner baits. If you're not getting bites, get smaller. Make an accurate cast, and this little Booyah Pond Magic will catch all kinds of fish. It'll catch bluegill, it'll catch bass, it'll catch monster crappie for you too. So this needs to be in your tackle box. If you don't have a Booyah Pond Magic, you're missing out. This is one of my favorite lures when I start to downsize on a tough bite. Booyah, baby. Pond Magic. Come on up here. Oh, he's coming. Don't jump. Come up here, sweet pea. Let me get my hands on you. There he is. He's a nice one. This is the kind of fish that most anglers are really trying to catch all day long, because big ones will take care of themselves if you catch enough of this size right here. And this little bait right here, it's called a Pond Magic spinnerbait, made by Booyah. Let me set her in. Get back out there.
You know, one of my most favorite baits to fish in the springtime is what we call a Booyah blade. It's a spinnerbait that's actually got 2 willow leaves on it. It doesn't have a Colorado blade and a willow, it's got 2 willows. The reason for that is in the springtime when them fish get up real shallow, it's very key point to make this bait imitate, which is pretty easy to do. One of my most favorite ways to fish this bait is to throw it around shallow water cover when that water temperature heats up to about 58 to 60 degrees is when I really start liking to throw the bait. The warmer the water gets, usually is going to determine on how fast I crank the bait. For water temperature that's around 56, 58, I'm probably going to fish this bait extremely slow. And what I mean by that is I'm barely turning the reel handle and I'm keeping the bait out of my visual sight. A spinnerbait is a lure that you always fish around the cover. if not around it, in it. And when the water's cool, I like to fish it around standing timber or lay down trees or bushes. And it's very important to make this bait actually touch the side of one of them trees. And a lot of times when it touches the side of that tree, I'll pop the rod tip just to give that blade a little extra flash. And as the water temperature warms up, I'll fish the bait basically around a lot of the same type of cover, but I may use more of a medium or even a faster retrieve to where I'm almost waking this bait on the surface. And fishing a Booyah spinnerbait is one of the easiest baits that you've got in your tackle box to fish with. And in the springtime, it's probably one of the most deadliest baits you've got in your box that you can catch a lot of numbers of fish on. Oh, he's got it. He ate it good. Water being real cold, they don't fight very hard. Man, I'm telling you, the Booyah blade that's the bait to catch good fish on. In the springtime, there's no other bait like the Booyah blade.